Few events in history have captured the hearts and minds of billions like the final hours of Jesus Christ. This was no ordinary day. It was the dramatic climax of betrayal, unimaginable agony, and ultimate sacrifice that continues to echo through the ages. These final hours, filled with intimate moments with his disciples, shocking betrayal, intense trials, and a brutally cruel execution, forever changed the spiritual, cultural, and historical landscape of the world. Have you ever wondered what Jesus truly experienced in those last, painful moments? Come with me as we walk through these events step by step, exploring the powerful details that are often overlooked. Stay with us as we uncover the historical realities and deep significance of Jesus' final hours, truths that still move us today and invite us to reflect on the extraordinary within history's most difficult moments. The Last Supper. The final hours of Jesus Christ began in an upper room in Jerusalem, a place known as the Cenacle. It was here, in this sacred space, that he shared a meal with his disciples, an event that would come to be known as the Last Supper. Far more than a simple gathering, this moment was layered with profound theological, cultural, and historical significance. Jesus instituted a new covenant, transforming the traditional Jewish Passover meal into a symbol of his impending sacrifice. During the meal, Jesus broke bread and offered it to his disciples, saying, "This is my body, which is given for you. Do this in remembrance of me." He then shared a cup of wine, proclaiming, "This cup is the new covenant in my blood, which is poured out for you." These words, as simple as they may appear, were revolutionary. By invoking the imagery of his body and blood, Jesus connected the sacrificial rituals of Judaism to his imminent death, signifying the fulfillment of centuries-old prophecies. Yet, the Last Supper was not without its moments of tension. Jesus revealed that one among them would betray him, stating, "The hand of him who is going to betray me is with mine on the table." The disciples, confused and distressed, questioned who it might be. Judas Iscariot, the betrayer, was present, though he concealed his intentions. Betrayal in the Garden of Gethsemane. Following the Last Supper, Jesus and his disciples retreated to the Garden of Gethsemane, located at the base of the Mount of Olives. Known as a serene place of prayer and reflection, it was here that Jesus grappled with his imminent suffering. The Gospel of Luke vividly describes his emotional turmoil, and being in anguish, he prayed more earnestly, and his sweat was like drops of blood falling to the ground. This rare condition, hematidrosis, underscores the extreme psychological and physical stress Jesus endured. Fully aware of the betrayal and suffering that lay ahead, the tranquility of the garden was soon disrupted by the arrival of Judas Iscariot, leading a group of armed men sent by the Jewish authorities. Judas, fulfilling his role as betrayer, identified Jesus with a kiss, a gesture heavy with irony as it symbolized respect and love. Jesus responded with dignity and acceptance, saying, "Friend, do what you came for." At this point, the mob seized him, and the disciples, overcome with fear and confusion, fled. The betrayal in Gethsemane, laden with both human treachery and divine purpose, marked the beginning of the final sequence of events leading to Jesus' crucifixion. Trials before Jewish leaders and Pilate. Jesus was first taken to the high priest Caiaphas and the Sanhedrin, the Jewish ruling council. Here, he faced accusations of blasphemy, as his claim to be the Son of God was deemed heretical under Jewish law. The trial, conducted hastily and fraught with inconsistencies, revealed the council's determination to sentence him to death. When directly questioned by the high priest, "Are you the Messiah, the Son of the Blessed One?" Jesus replied, "I am. And you will see the Son of Man sitting at the right hand of the Mighty One and coming on the clouds of heaven." This declaration enraged the council, who condemned him as deserving of death. The following morning, Jesus was brought before Pontius Pilate, the Roman governor of Judea, whose role was to ensure political stability. Pilate, known in historical accounts as a shrewd and pragmatic leader, was reluctant to condemn Jesus. After questioning him, Pilate declared, "I find no basis for a charge against him." However, the Jewish leaders and the crowd demanded Jesus' crucifixion. Pilate, attempting to absolve himself of responsibility, offered to release one prisoner as per the Passover custom. The crowd, however, chose Barabbas, a known insurgent, over Jesus. Despite his reluctance, Pilate ultimately yielded to the crowd's demands. In a symbolic act, he washed his hands, stating, "I am innocent of this man's blood." This moment of political expediency sealed Jesus' fate, demonstrating the tension between justice and the pressures of maintaining authority. Jesus, now condemned to die, was handed over to Roman soldiers to begin the agonizing path to crucifixion. Scourging and mockery by Roman soldiers. The scourging of Jesus marked the beginning of his physical torment. Roman soldiers used a flagrum, a whip embedded with metal and bone shards, to lacerate his body. This brutal practice, intended to weaken the condemned before crucifixion, caused severe physical trauma, leaving his back and shoulders torn and bleeding. Scourging was not merely a punishment, but a method of dehumanization, aimed at stripping the individual of dignity. After the scourging, the soldiers mocked Jesus in a display of cruelty and humiliation. They placed a crown of thorns on his head, pressing it into his scalp, and draped him in a scarlet robe, a mocking imitation of royal garments. Kneeling before him, they jeered, "Hail, King of the Jews," while striking him repeatedly. These acts of mockery fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah. He was oppressed and afflicted, yet he did not open his mouth. This phase of Jesus' suffering not only revealed the brutality of Roman execution practices, but also underscored his unwavering resolve. Despite the physical and emotional agony inflicted upon him, Jesus bore his torment without resistance or retaliation, embodying the ultimate act of humility and sacrifice. Carrying the cross through Jerusalem. Weakened from the scourging, Jesus was forced to carry the crossbeam of his cross to Golgotha, the site of his execution. This journey, now known as the Via Dolorosa, or Way of Suffering, was a path of both physical agony and public humiliation. The streets of Jerusalem were filled with onlookers, some mourning, others mocking. As Jesus struggled under the weight of the cross, he fell multiple times, unable to bear the load. The Roman soldiers, eager to maintain order and expedite the execution, conscripted Simon of Cyrene to carry the cross for him. During this grueling journey, Jesus encountered a group of women who wept for him. He turned to them and said, "Daughters of Jerusalem, do not weep for me. Weep for yourselves and for your children." His words, even in the midst of profound suffering, carried a message of compassion and prophetic warning, foreshadowing the trials that would come upon Jerusalem. The procession to Golgotha was not merely a logistical path to execution. It was a public spectacle meant to instill fear and assert Roman authority. For Jesus, it was a journey of unparalleled endurance and spiritual significance, a prelude to the ultimate act of sacrifice that would follow. Crucifixion at Golgotha. At Golgotha, the place of the skull, Jesus was nailed to the cross in a method of execution designed to maximize pain and humiliation. The Roman soldiers drove nails through his hands and feet, fulfilling the prophecy in Psalm 22:16, "They pierced my hands and my feet." As he hung on the cross, enduring excruciating pain, Jesus spoke words of forgiveness. "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." For 6 hours, Jesus hung on the cross, enduring physical agony, emotional isolation, and the mockery of onlookers. His cry, my God, why have you forsaken me?" echoed the depth of his anguish. However, the story of Jesus did not end at Golgotha. 3 days after his crucifixion, he rose from the dead, as witnessed by his followers, affirming his divinity and triumph over death. 40 days later, Jesus ascended into heaven, an event described in Acts 1:9. He was taken up before their very eyes, and a cloud hid him from their sight. This ascension marked the completion of his earthly mission and the beginning of his eternal reign, leaving his disciples with the promise of the Holy Spirit and the hope of his return. The final hours of Jesus Christ are far more than a story of pain and death. They are a powerful reminder of love, forgiveness, and hope that has inspired countless lives across 2,000 years. These events continue to speak to us today, touching the deepest parts of our human experience. They were spiritual, yes, but also profoundly human, political, and transformative in ways that still shape our world. So, which moment from Jesus' final hours touches your heart the most? Was it the pain of betrayal in the garden, his incredible strength during the trials, or the compassion he showed even while dying on the cross? Tell me in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If this video moved you, please like it, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our future journeys into history's most meaningful stories. Thank you for watching, and may God bless you.